The Bugatti Veyron 16.4 is a German-French super sports car from the manufacturer Bugatti Automobiles SAS, based in Molsheim, Alsace, and developed by Bugatti Engineering GmbH in Wolfsburg. Several speed records were broken with it. The basic concept for the vehicle is based on a technical design by Bugatti chief engineer Frank Götzke. In May 1998, the Volkswagen Group acquired the trademark rights to the former Bugatti automaker. In October of the same year, the first concept car to revive the brand was presented, the four-seater EB 118 Coupe. This was followed in 1999 by the EB 218 Studies, a four-door sedan, and the EB 18 Thirds Chiron mid-engine sports car. The idea of a four-door sedan was taken up in 2009 for the 16C Galibier but not realized, while the successor to the Veyron was given the name Chiron. All three studies still featured the originally envisaged 18-cylinder W engine with 3 banks of cylinders before this concept was scrapped due to technical problems. The Veyron study was finally presented at the Tokyo Motor Show in 1999, albeit at that time still under the name Bugatti Veyron EB 18.4. This came close in appearance to the later production model, but was still equipped with an 18-cylinder engine. The decision to go into series production was taken by the Volkswagen Group in 2001, and the first road-ready prototype was completed in August 2003. With the exception of a few details, it resembles the later production model. However, considerable technical problems had to be solved during development to production readiness, so that the start of production was repeatedly postponed and delayed until September 2005. The name of the super sports car comes from the French racing driver Pierre Veyron, who was active between 1933 and 1953. He was recruited by Ettore Bugatti's son in 1932. Veyron became a test driver, development engineer and from then on successfully optimized Bugatti's racing cars. The suffix 16.4 indicates the number of cylinders and exhaust turbochargers. In the Bugatti Veyron 16.4 Super Sport model variant, since 2010, the vehicle combines a number of superlatives and special features. These include the eponymous 16 cylinders of the 530 kg mid-engine, 640 kg with transmission, the arrangement of the cylinders in VVR form, not a true W engine, the 110 kg 7-speed transmission with double clutch, the maximum output of 883 kilowatts, 1,200 horsepower, the top speed of 431 km per hour, the 4 turbochargers, a total of 10 radiators, the maximum consumption of up to 100 liters per 100 kilometers, the maximum torque of 1500 Nm and the acceleration from 0 to 100 km per hour in 2.5 seconds. Telemetry makes the car's data available at the Bugatti headquarters. To be able to brake the heavy vehicle safely, carbon ceramic brake discs are installed that bring the car to a halt from 100 km per hour in 2.3 seconds over a distance of 31.4 meters. The brake discs are equipped with a brake system. At speeds above 240 km per hour, the rear wing is automatically steepened from a brake pedal time of 0.4 s, as on the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, reducing lift or increasing the car's downforce. The design was developed in 1999 by Hartmut Warkus, then Volkswagen's head of design, in collaboration with the then only 26-year-old up-and-coming designer Josef Kaban, later head of exterior design at Audi, interim head of design at Škoda, later BMW and current head of design at Rolls-Royce, and supervised until the end of series production. The car's design led to problems in its technical implementation. The rather round shape of the body created aerodynamic disadvantages because it was not optimal for the planned maximum speed of over 400 km per hour. The aerodynamic efficiency of the car was also a problem. The drag coefficient, CW, of the Veyron is relatively high for a sports car and, at 0.393 in the normal configuration, lies between that of a VW New Beetle, 0.38, and a VW Golf I, 0.41. In the production version, a hydraulically extendable rear wing helps stabilize the car at high speeds. This increases drag, which would actually require more than the intended 736 kilowatts to reach the projected speed. This problem was solved by the introduction of the so-called speed key. In normal setting the car reaches 375 km per hour. With the speed key, a kind of second ignition key to the left of the driver's seat, the car is lowered to 65 mm ground clearance at the front and 70 mm at the rear, thus achieving a wedge shape. The rear wing is moved to a 2 degrees position to reduce drag, and the front diffuser flaps are also closed to further reduce drag. Thus, top speed can be achieved at the price of far worse handling. In this configuration, the CW value drops to 0.36, which is quite high compared to other production vehicles and is equivalent to that of an SUV like the Subaru Forester. However, this value is directly related to the downforce required to achieve sufficient downforce and the need to cool the engine sufficiently to achieve everyday usability, which is lacking in other supercars that enter similar speed ranges. Engine and transmission. Bugatti W16 engine with 2 banks of VR8 cylinders. Another problem was the engine space requirements. It was originally planned as an 18-cylinder engine with 3 6-cylinder banks acting on a common crank mechanism. This arrangement corresponds to a true W engine, but the concept could not be realized. Finally, a non-genuine W engine with 16 cylinders was realized, i.e. a double V engine with 2 VR8-cylinder banks, 15-degree cylinder angle and 90-degree bank angle. The engine is also equipped with 4 turbochargers. The engine is manufactured at Volkswagen AG's Salzgitter engine plant in Lower Saxony. The transmission was another challenge. The goal of a lightweight, small and durable transmission clashed with that of the targeted maximum torque of 1250 Nm. The transmission is a dual-clutch gearbox developed by Ricardo. All these measures result in a curb weight of almost 2 tons instead of the planned 1550 kg and thus an increased fuel consumption. The oil change costs $21,000 and takes a full 27 hours. The mechanics have to open 16 different drain plugs to fill the dry sump oil system with fresh oil. In addition, several components have to be removed beforehand, this also to check the air filter. Cooling system. The Veyron requires 2 cooling water circuits, 40L and 15L, with a total of 10 radiators to prevent overheating at top speed and in stop-and-go traffic. In addition, when a certain radiator temperature is reached, the rear wing is moved to the 2 degrees position to additionally ventilate the engine compartment, directly in top speed mode. The larger primary circuit with 3 radiators in the front end and 40L of coolant is used to cool the engine. The second, smaller circuit serves as a low-temperature circuit, for cooling the charge air with 3 radiators and 2 heat exchangers on the engine that are visible from the outside. The remaining coolers are used to cool the differential, transmission, engine oil and air conditioning. Tires and safety. Due to the special requirements with possible speeds of over 400 km per hour, tire manufacturer Michelin developed new high-speed tires specifically for the Veyron. The search for a compromise between road capability and load-bearing capacity took almost 5 years of development. The Michelin Pilot Sport Pax tires are mainly designed for dry road conditions and, due to their width and tread pattern, have only limited suitability for use in the rain. The front end also had to be redesigned to meet the Volkswagen Group's high crash and quality standards. This also involved a great deal of work, especially because the body is mainly made of carbon fiber reinforced plastic. Top speed. At the end of April 2005, the Bugatti Veyron exceeded the 400 km per hour limit several times on the Volkswagen test track in Alsace under the supervision of 2. The average top speed determined during these tests was 408.47 km per hour, while the maximum speed recorded in the registration documents is 407 km per hour. The Bugatti Veyron was the fastest vehicle ever built. It thus replaced the Dower 962 LM as the fastest production sports car in the world. After the SSC Ultimate Aero TT was measured on September 13, 2007 by the Guinness Book of Records, which determined an absolute top speed of 412 km per hour, it was temporarily no longer the fastest road legal car. However, at the beginning of May 2010, Ferdinand Piëch announced during a lecture at the Vienna University of Technology that a further developed variant of the Veyron with 883 kilowatts, 1,200 horsepower, would go into series production in the future. This new variant, named Bugatti Veyron Supersport with 883 kilowatts, 1,200 horsepower, set a new speed record on June 26, 2010, with an average of 431.072 km per hour. In one direction even 434.211 km per hour, but with tires specially made for this purpose. Since then, this car model was once again considered the fastest production car with road approval. The sales version of the Super Sport has the same technology as the record version, but is electronically slowed down at only 415 km per hour due to the tires. In April 2013, its status as the fastest production car was re-examined and confirmed by the Guinness Book of Records. Since then, other road-legal vehicles such as BAD GT, modified Ford GT, or Koenigsegg Agera RS have reached higher speeds, but none has been able to replace the Veyron SS as the fastest production car in the Guinness Book of Records. For Bugatti's 100th birthday, speculation arose about a special model called the Centenaire, which was said to have a power increase to 993 kilowatts, 1,350 horsepower, and a top speed of 480 kilometers per hour. These rumors were not confirmed, however. Rather, the Centenaire turned out to be a specially equipped but technically unchanged variant of the Veyron. Series production. Annual production of around 70 vehicles was planned in Dorlisheim near Molsheim in Alsace. In total, only 300 units were produced until the summer of 2011. Production of the coupe then came to an end. The waiting time was more than half a year, but anyone paying cash could pick up the car after a month at the latest, guaranteed former Bugatti boss Thomas Biesker. The technical problems not only extended the development time, but also increased development costs. The unit price was around €1.309 million. There were no plans to make a profit. In fact, according to British media reports, the total loss generated by the model line between 2005 and 2013 was around £1.4 billion, about €1.7 billion, and the loss per vehicle was said to be around £3.9 million, about €4.7 million. According to Bernd Pischetsrieder, VW's CEO at the time, Volkswagen wanted to prove its technical competence with the Bugatti Veyron, just as other car companies would do for far more money in racing. Successor. The successor to the Veyron, named Chiron and built from 2016 onwards, was intended to surpass the technical superlatives of the Veyron, with engine power increased to 1,103 kilowatts, 1,500 horsepower. In addition, the torque was also increased to 1,600 Newton-meters. Despite the increase in power, the plan was to reduce fuel consumption to less than 20 liters per 100 kilometers and CO2 emissions to around 450 grams per kilometer.